Ewein has announced the demise of its founder and executive chairman, Datuk Ewe Swee Kheng, at the age of 53. In a filing with Bursa Malaysia, Ewein expressed its deepest sorrow over his death and its deepest gratitude for his enormous contribution to the group. It added that it has an experienced management team, most of whom have been with the group for years. The board is therefore confident with the management's abilities to continue with the group's business as usual. Earlier, Sinchu Daily reported that Ewe had died after falling from a condominium at Jalan Kelawai, Penang this morning. According to the Chinese language Daily, Ewe fell from the 17th floor of the condominium and into a pool at around 2 a.m. this morning. Ewe was reportedly one of the prosecution witnesses in the 6.3 billion ringgit Penang Undersea Tunnel Project trial involving former Penang Chief Minister and Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng. Ewe had been remanded by the MACC in January 2018 to assist in its investigations. During that time, Ewein, the developer of the City of Dreams in Bandar Tanjung Pinang, maintained that neither the group nor its subsidiaries were involved in the undersea tunnel project. At the close, Ewein's shares settled at 28 sen, down 12.5% for a market capitalization of 84.44 million ringgit. AirAsia Group said Danajamin Nasional has approved an 80% guaranteed loan of up to 500 million ringgit under the Danajamin Prihatin Guarantee Scheme. In a statement, the low-cost carrier said the loan has been approved by its lenders under a club deal term financing, while guarantee for the club facility will be provided by Danajamin via MOF's Syarikat Jaminan Pembiayaan Perniagaan. The financing under the facility will be used for working capital, which will support staff costs and key operating expenses, such as aircraft maintenance, as AirAsia prepares to ramp up its operations, leading to the reopening of interstate and international borders. AirAsia Executive Chairman Datuk Kamarudin Meranun said, "This approval from the government is a strong endorsement of the group's ability to recover fast and provides a welcome boost to its overall fundraising strategy as it prepares to return to the skies in all of its key markets." In an interview with The Edge earlier this year, AirAsia co-founder and group CEO Tan Sri Tony Fernandes said the group's funding plans included loans from 3 local banks pending approval from Danajamin. He also said the group was expecting to raise fresh funds of between 2 billion ringgit and 2.5 billion ringgit through Danajamin, rights issue, debt and the monetization of its digital assets. This was based on the expectation of 1 billion ringgit funding from Danajamin. AirAsia's shares fell 0.9% to close at 1 ringgit 12 sen a piece, giving the carrier a market capitalization of 4.37 billion ringgit. Khazanah Nasional-backed Farm Fresh has filed a draft prospectus for an initial public offering on the main market of Bursa Malaysia. The proposed listing will involve the sale of 743.18 million ordinary shares, including 222.95 million new shares. Up to 687.44 million shares will be involved in the institutional offering, while the remainder will be made available for retail investors. The draft prospectus confirms a report by The Edge Malaysia that the company submitted documents for a listing on Bursa. The Edge, quoting sources, had reported that Farm Fresh's IPO is expected to take place within the first half of next year, and it is looking at a potential valuation of over 2 billion ringgit. Talk of an IPO of the Johor-based company first emerged last August after Bloomberg reported that the company's shareholders were considering the exercise. Farm Fresh is 30% owned by Khazanah via the fund's investment vehicle Agri-Food Resources Holdings. Other shareholders of Farm Fresh are Rainforest Capital with a 46.67% stake and Farm Choice Foods with a 23.33% equity. According to The Edge, Farm Fresh founder and CEO Lloyd Tuan Ee and his family are shareholders of both these companies, along with others. At Datin Sri Rosmah Mansour's solar graph trial today, The former self-styled First Lady shifted all blame to her former aide, Datuk Rizal Mansor. Rosmah, who took the stand today, is accused of soliciting 187.5 million ringgit and receiving bribes of 6.5 million ringgit from Jepat Holdings through Rizal in exchange for helping the company obtain a 1.25 billion ringgit project to provide solar energy to 369 rural schools in Sarawak. She repeatedly claimed that it was Rizal who had purportedly asked for the amount as a political donation, and that it was he who had asked for the amount to be increased from 10% of the project's value to 15%. Rosmah testified she had never asked for nor received any cash, and that she, in fact, should have been the witness to testify against Rizal and not the other way round. Rizal was initially slapped with 4 charges of seeking and receiving bribes for himself and Rosmah, amounting to 5.5 million ringgit involving the project. However, last January his charges were dropped and he turned Crown Witness instead. The Melaka State Legislative Assembly has been dissolved following the withdrawal of support by 4 assemblymen for Chief Minister Datuk Sri Sulaiman Muhammad Ali. According to Bernama, Speaker Datuk Sri Abdul Rauf Yusof said Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Tun Muhammad Ali Rustam consented to the dissolution, making way for a state election. He told a special press conference at Sri Negeri, the proclamation of the dissolution has been submitted to the Melaka Election Commission. On holding state polls during the COVID-19 pandemic, Abdul Rauf said the Election Commission could propose the most appropriate standard operating procedures to the National Security Council and Ministry of Health. In the meantime, the existing state government will act as a caretaker government. Prior to the declaration of loss of confidence by BN Sungai Udang Assemblyman Datuk Sri Idris Harun, BN Pantai Kundur's Datuk Nur Azman Hassan, Bersatu Teluk Masas Datuk Nur Effandi Ahmad, and Independent Pengkalan Batu's Datuk Nur Hizam Hassan Bakti, BN held 17 seats in the 28-seat State Assembly, while the opposition had 11 seats.